How's it going with Harry Hess these days?
Pretty good, pretty good. Still alive, working, doing my thing.
Well, that's good. That's all good. So,
That's right.
you got a new project, that you released, First Signal. How's
Yes.
that coming out?
Yeah. Really good, actually. It's I've been doing press now for a few months, and the response has been overwhelmingly positive, I can honestly say. So, I mean, I guess most of the interviews you end up doing, there are people that like the record, but you get a little bit of fan feedback, on websites and things like that, or people reviewing the records. And I guess for the most part, fans of melodic rock or, a little bit old school rock or early Scarem fans, they're kind of into that style of music. So it's done well with that crowd for sure.
And you guys got a new video too. This city looks really fresh, this video. Really, really good stuff with the sound in the background. Very good.
Yeah. Actually, we went out to LA and shot that video, so that was kind of fun to do. It was pretty quick and easy, and the director did a good job with it.
You still see the need of the importance of a video today? Like, from the MTV days or Much Music to, YouTube
Well,
now.
yeah, I mean, that's really what it's about, is just, I guess, just having some sort of presence on YouTube or, just anything visual where people can kind of connect with you and see what you're up to and what you're doing. So, live shows are great, interviews are great, like all kinds of things that, I know, being a fan of, certain bands, like I'll go look for, like I said, like early live footage or interview footage that was never available before. And so it makes it a lot more fun for the fans to see everything that's possible that you're out there doing, and so I think that's kind of cool. But as far as video channels go, I guess not really. If I want to see a video of a band, I'll just kind of look for it on YouTube before I would sit in front of the TV and wait for it to come on. So I think there's still an importance to doing something visual, and as far as YouTube-related content, it's probably more important now than ever.
Have you guys been playing gigs for this First Signal band?
No, actually, we put it together more as as a recording project in the beginning. The label asked me if I wanted to be involved in the making of a rock record, and I asked to hear the songs, and I liked what I heard, and I knew I could do a good job with it vocally. So I jumped on board and got involved. But really, there were never any discussions with regards to putting it on the road and doing any playing. If I go out and do some playing on my own, which I might do in the future, because I'm working on another solo record right now. So if I go out and play, I would definitely include a couple of those songs and some old Harem Scarem stuff and whatever I'm working on now.
Can you tell me too about the recording process of First Signal, the debut album, self-titled?
Well, I mean, like I said, I was just brought in mainly to sing, and so the songs were in place, before I even got there, and then they presented them to me. So I liked what I heard, and Frontiers, the label, they brought in Dennis Ward to do the recording and the production. So he does a great job of doing those style of records. So I knew I was in good hands, and I just concentrated on the singing. So I guess it was about December last year where I started to receive bits and pieces, and then I started recording seriously in around January, February, and had it all kind of done by March.
Who's all playing on this album?
There are various players like that Dennis got involved, and Dennis obviously played bass and did lots of extra stuff. There's a guy named Eric Rango played keyboards. A guy named Mike Klein played guitars, and I'm not exactly sure even who he hired to do the drums, but Dennis was in charge of all of that, so he kind of just made those decisions.
Well, it's a good sounding record, I'll have to say that.
Yeah, he did a great job with it. He really did.
And throughout all these years, your voice is very fresh.
Well, I think the more you do this, the better you get at it. Unless you're, overdoing it and burning out. yeah, I feel, like I can sing now better than I ever have because of, my understanding of singing and what I'm trying to accomplish. And recording is one of those things where the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I think all these years of experience have kind of led me down a road where I can do this. I mean, it's never easy and it's always time consuming, especially to do this kind of a record where it's vocally very demanding. You can't just, get up in the morning and pump out those vocals. I mean, it takes, a lot of warming up and a lot of, getting into that zone to be able to pull that off, because it's not in a naturally, normal speaking range. It's usually at the upper ends of my limit, and then all those harmonies and everything like that. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. But like I said, I'm used to doing it and I like doing it.
And what's in store for Harem Scarem in the future?
Well, there's really no plans. I mean, we kind of put it on the back burner a few years ago just because, we were at the end of a contract and really didn't feel like renewing it because we, felt like we were beginning to repeat ourselves, and we've been doing it for 20 years and just, it kind of felt old and stale. So, I mean, I personally think it would take a long time still, or at least a few more years before we felt any differently about it. I mean, I still work with the guys a lot on other recording projects. But, I know for a fact that everybody kind of still feels the same way about it, is everybody's just like, well, there's no real need or hurry to get back in there and do anything at this moment.
You said you're doing a lot of projects and stuff. Like, how many projects are you involved in, let's say now?
Well, I mean, you know what, like, this is the only singing thing I've done since Harem Scarem, basically, where I've been, a featured vocalist. Other than that, I mean, I'm just doing production work, bands that I'm producing. I do a lot of songwriting because I'm signed with Universal as a songwriter out of Europe. Mm-hmm. Spend a lot of time in Europe, actually, over the last 3-4 years doing projects, mainly for Sony, a lot of mixing, some mastering as well. So I kind of, get my hands in a lot of different projects, and I like it that way. It keeps it fresh and exciting for me. And, the last, well, I guess since Harem Scarem has ended, my main focus has been writing and stuff like that. So stuff I've been involved with that, that came out recently was a band called Die Mannequin, which is actually a band that I helped develop. Was signed and released on Warner recently. Another band called My Darkest Days, mm-hmm. which I have a song on their record. It was produced by Chad Kruger from Nickelback. And I've been spending a lot of time in Nashville, actually, writing songs with lots of Nashville writers and stuff like that. So it's been cool, really good.
So to write songs, how much hours do you look into a day to, get a product out? Do you say, like, I'm going to get 2 songs today written, or 1, or none?
Well, it kind of goes in waves, where I'll do it every day for maybe a week or 2 because, I go on writing trips, so I went to Sweden for a week. Then, I'll be in Europe for a week or 2. And basically all I do all day is write with other writers or write myself later on in the hotel room to finish up the ideas. And when I go to Nashville, I usually go for a week. So, I mean, my focus just, is just writing during that time. So it goes in usually weekly increments. And then when I come back, I'm either demoing the songs or working on other production work with other bands.
And what songs did you write for Die Mannequin?
Wonderful title, Miss Americant.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that one, yes.
Good, yeah. Oh, so you're familiar with it. Okay.
Yeah, I promoted her.
Yeah, another one called Carolyn Mescaline. And these are songs when we... I first started working with her. She was probably 15, I would say. And worked with her for a few years. And like I said, really helped develop that whole band and that whole project. I ended up getting signed to EMI Music Publishing here in Canada. And then later on, Warner got involved, and she went on to try a whole bunch of different things and working with different producers and stuff, and worked back in my studio again with Ian DeSoff and Billy Talent, and they did Do It or Die there. And then when they released their first proper full-length record, they went down to picking some songs out that they liked the best, and those 2 were songs that I'd written with her a few years back now. And that's the Dominican thing. And same situation with My Darkest Days. I was just working with the band, and we, wanted to write a song and record it. So we did a song called Every Lie, which did, I think it won them a contest on Hits FM or something like that. And then Chad really liked the song and got them a record deal. And that album just came out, I think, like in the last few weeks, and is doing very well in America. So it's a good thing.
In that sense, you're a writer that writes all sorts of music styles.
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel most comfortable doing the rock stuff just because I've been doing it my whole life. But, I don't know, I don't really differentiate too much between even like a Taylor Swift song and, like, if you're calling that country, I call it just light pop, pop rock or whatever. I mean, stylistically, you're still trying to come to the same conclusion in the end. You're trying to write something lyrically that people can relate to, and musically something that's melodically catchy and makes sense. It's really more about the treatment later on that I guess defines it and puts it in a certain category. So, when I'm writing with Nashville songwriters, I write with, people that have written, Rascal Flatts songs or Tim McGraw songs, and, the approach is still exactly the same. You're still trying to write something great and something that means something to you and hopefully later on to other people. It's just not that different for me. I don't really draw lines in the sand with I'll write this or I won't write that. I mean, I can't write a hip hop song. I because I just have no experience doing it, and I don't know really aesthetically how to put it together so it sounds real, and it wouldn't be real. So I kind of stick with pop, rock, and forms of country that lean towards pop and rock.
It sounds really good what you're doing. I mean, you're keeping yourself really busy in this field of music, and writing songs and stuff. And on top of that, your voice is still fresh like it ever was.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it feels great. I mean, I couldn't really ask for anything more. Obviously, everybody likes to be doing better and, selling more records and being involved in projects that are doing well. But, I consider myself very lucky that I get to make records that, keep coming out and seem to do well enough to warrant making another one. And like I said, right now I just started on a solo record, which will be released under the name Hess. And I'm having a ton of fun doing that. And it's just basically a collection of co-writes that I've done, like I said, all around the world with like Swedish writers or writers in Nashville or New York, LA, whatever. And just a collection of songs that I like that I'll be putting out. So, yeah, I mean, I consider myself very lucky.
Well, that's great. Look forward to hearing the new CD you're going to be doing, the solo one.
Cool. And where are you, in Halifax?
Nova Scotia and towards Yarmouth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very cool. I used to play out there a lot, but 20 years ago. That's that way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Harry, been a pleasure talking to you. Really nice to see what you're doing, where you're up to these days, and it's good.
Thank you. My pleasure. Anytime.
All right. Well, you have a good career.
Awesome, man. Okay. Well, thanks a lot.
All right. You have a good evening.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.